Hi everyone, it's Tammy at Creative Girl Vintage, and this is project number 2 for Christmas in July. Today we are going to be making a ballerina wish ornament, and I have a crafting kit with everything you need, of course minus the paint, glue, and glitter, but I've got the rest of it covered for you. So we're going to open that up like a Christmas present, and I'll tell you where you can get one if that's something you would like. And then the fun part, we are going to dress up our ballerina and make this sweet ornament. So let's get started. This video serves as a tutorial for this crafting kit, but it is also an inspiration for those of you who have a crafting stash like mine. You know, you've got a lot of little pieces, and you guys told me that some of you have like a stockpile of these ballerinas laying around, so this is one idea on how you can use them too. So the kit comes to you in a very sweet little drawstring bag, and let's just open it up. We'll take the parts out and see what we got. We have got a vintage crochet piece from an old doily and your ballerina, and we've got a little floral piece here. This is going to be in the back of our ornament, and a little wish tag. And here is a little matchbox that we're going to open up, and I'll show you what I tucked inside here. This is like opening up like the ballerina's little dresser drawer. So inside we have a tulle, little tutu that we're going to dress our ballerina up with. I've always loved just going the extra step with these ballerinas and just dressing them up. There is a little applique flower, and then this is a little hanger for our ornament. We're going to be using this bottom part of our matchbox as a little shadow box for our ballerina. So this is what we're going to be painting. And then you guys know that whenever you buy kits from me, I always like to put a little extra treasure in there for you. So I pop this inside. This is a little glass bottle in the shape of a star with a little cork, and it's filled with teeny itsy bitsy tiny stars. And so this is something you can tuck away and maybe use in a future project. Okay, so right now let's plug in our glue guns. Let's pull out our glitter of choice and your favorite paint color, and let's make this little ballerina ornament. The first thing we're going to do is get our matchbox ready. Okay, so we're going to be using the inside of the matchbox for our little shadow box, and I like the metallic colors. It's just kind of the ones that I always choose when I'm doing stuff like this, but this is totally up to you. Like this one here, she's done in a metallic gold, and this one is done in pink, which I gotta say is beautiful too. You can leave this even white if you want. I think that would be pretty too. So I have a gold one here that I did ahead of time just so it's good and dry, and that's just something you really need to make sure. This takes about 2 coats on the metallic. Make sure you're good and dry. And I just noticed that if I don't let that paint dry really good, it wants to kind of, when you put your glue on, it just rejects it. You know, you can just pull everything off. Okay, so I'm cutting out right now. This is the little wallpaper that's going to be in the back of the matchbox. And just something I learned when I first really started crafting. Okay, I'll admit it, in the 80s. Okay, I know, that was a lot of decades ago. But anyway, one of the things I learned about paint was that even though it may appear dry and, you know, you just want to go forward, if you touch it and it feels cold to the touch, that paint is not dry. And I realize it's just not the acrylics, but it's also the chalk paints and the latex. It's just kind of a paint thing, you know? So, you know, that's like a little thing to, like a little good tip there to remember. All right, so my wallpaper just went in here, and I really didn't want it to because I want to put a little bit of glue in there. Let me see, let me find something here to pull it back out so I can pop a little bit of glue in there. There we go. Okay, you can use anything here. This is just a little tacky glue. I'm just going to put it in there. You just want to tack this down. I think your glue stick would work. Mod Podge would work. Okay, wallpaper is in place. All right, let's glue off my fingers. Here is the hanger, and grab your glue gun for this one. And I'm just going to put a little dot of glue right there. I know my glue gun, so I just wait a moment, and I can lay that right on there, and I can touch it, and I know that I'm not going to get burned. I really do recommend, if you're starting out crafting, this little Surebonder with this little precision tip. It is high temp, but it just really gets the job done. If you're using one of those giant glue guns with the big giant glue sticks that are super hot, you're probably going to have a harder time, you know, with these little tiny crafting things. I do have the stories and the scars to prove that. All right, one more thing and our box is going to be ready. Okay, I'm going to use, once again, use whatever you like because anything works. But I have this diamond dust glitter. Any of you guys have this one? I mean, I've had this for a really long time. This is actually made from crushed glass, and it recommends that it's not for kids. So, you know, that's probably a good thing. Keep it away from the kids. But I've used this for years, and I've never been cut by it. Bead of glue, and I'm dipping it in there. Okay, this really is pretty. It gives a very icicle kind of effect. And, you know, with that hot glue, this glitter is like just dries on here almost instantly. You don't have to wait. But it really gives it a beautiful look. See how sparkly that is? Whenever I think of ballerinas, the word sparkly always comes into my head. Okay, but like I said, if you want to use just a regular glitter for this, same technique, it'll work perfectly. Okay, you might have a few glue strings when you finish up here, but we'll just set this aside. Isn't that beautiful? And let it dry. Let's move to our ballerina. Now, just like the box, this is totally up to you as far as painting goes. I painted her, I repainted this pink into a paler pink, and then after she was all dressed up, I realized you really couldn't see it anyway. So this one here, I painted in silver, the silver metallic paint, which I thought was beautiful, and I think the gold would be beautiful too. So here's one. I painted her dress and her little crown and her ballet shoes in the silver, and I think this one turned out really cute. I love the way the silver glitter sparkles on the silver paint. And even if you just want to leave her dress the way it is, just painting her little tiara up there with the silver is a beautiful touch too. Okay, so, all right, she's already painted and dry, and let's bring out her little tutu. This is a piece of, it's like a ruffled tulle trim. And this is pretty long. We're going to be wrapping this around her. If you want to keep this long, this is a pretty effect. Like if you add some black, it'd be like a kind of a little Swan Lake kind of look. I'm going to trim mine down, make my tutu a little bit shorter. So just with your scissors, just go across here and just trim her down a bit. With my glue gun, I'm going to put a little dot right in the back, and just for a little starting point to hook that down. And I'm going to put another little dot right here. This is kind of right at her waist that we're wrapping this around. Push that down in there and finish it off right where we started, right like so. Okay. So see, we're already making her way more special. The little flower applique, this has 3 little flowers on it. I am actually cutting off one because she's kind of tiny. I mean, you can put the whole thing on there if you like. It's pretty. I'm going to set this aside and save it for another project. And I've got my little one flower here, and I'm going to put that right on her dress here in the front. Okay, and let's grab, this is a silver ultra fine glitter. I think the ultra fine does a nice job on these little tiny pieces. I'm just going to be using some Mod Podge, and let's do her tiara here. With some Mod Podge and a little sprinkle. Isn't that pretty? And on the others, I did the back. I don't really think that's necessary now that I think about it. You can if you like, but you really can't see anything in that little box. I'm going to put a little dab right here on the top of her dress. And let's sprinkle a little bit of glitter there. Okay, I'm just going to blow that off. Let me hold her hand here, and a little bit of the silver on her ballet shoes. Okay, isn't she so pretty? So these little plastic ballerinas, you guys, you can just dress them up. So adorable. All right, let's get our box back out. Now you might have a little bit of glittering wanting to come off here. I like to do a little tap, and just kind of anything loose there will come off. Okay, now let's take our girl, and remember our glitter is still wet, and by looking at her, my left hand and her foot, I like to put in that corner, and her right arm, which would be my right hand, up in this corner, right up here. Okay, so that she fits right in there, like so, with this leg hanging out. All right, get in there, little lady. Okay, there she is. She's laying down in there. She kind of feels like she wants to snap down in there, too. Here, let me move this other glue out of her way here. And, okay, with my glue gun, now that I know exactly her position, I'm just going to kind of hit the back of her dress here, and I'm going to pop her right back in there. And that is really enough to hold her in. All right, now we've got our piece of vintage crochet, and I'm going to add 2 little dots of glue here. This is just to kind of tack this down to center it so we know where we're at. Let's pick that up, and this kind of wraps around this box like a little crocheted frame, and a little dot of glue on the side. I'm just going to push this in right here, and we'll do the same on the other side. Probably just make sure you're gluing where there's a lot of crochet here, and it just doesn't go into like one of these empty holes. Okay. And if you like, you can tack down the top and bottom too. It makes it look like a sweet little frame. All right. Get rid of your glue strings. And one little last touch. Let's add right here on the corner the little wish banner. I hope you enjoyed this project as much as I enjoyed creating it for you. The kit is in my Etsy shop. That link is below. I do have a limited number of these. I wish I could just keep them going forever, you guys, but when I'm using vintage materials, they only go so far. So thank you so much for hanging out with me today, and I will see you for our next creative project. Bye for now.